Hi, this is Del Morgado from the Del Morgado Show, and you're listening to Droids Canada Podcast.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
DroidsCanada.com presents It's Time to Fight podcast. Listener discretion is advised. Hi everybody, I am Matthew Terry. This is It's Time to Fight podcast. Thank you so much for clicking on that play button. I say it every goddamn week. I appreciate every single click the play button gets, because it means you're actually listening to what I have to say, and the fact that people actually want to listen to what I have to say is fucking amazing to me. There, I swore. All right. So before we go any further, I would like to. I have a card here in front of me.
Handed a cue card.
I've been handed a cue card just to let you know that you can find our award-nominated podcast. Am I award or just like the network is?
Well, the main show is, but I'm sure you will be next.
Okay.
It's coming up.
All right. So you can find our award-nominated podcast and all the podcasts on the droidscanada.com. You can find them on Tangent Bound Network, iTunes, Podcast Addict, Stitcher. We're no longer on SoundCloud. We're now on Podbean.
Yes.
Google Play, Laughable, EMC, which, what do we got here?
Electronic Media Collective. Yeah,
all right,
too small.
that's kind of small. Points of interest, and you can catch us all over the place. Or you can just go to droidscanada.com, and you can find all the great podcasts that are on this network.
Yeah.
Once again, I am here with Todd Poole. And we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
Man,
but I'm gonna start off kind of off wrestling.
ooh.
This past Saturday, you and I were at the Forest City. I said it right.
Oh my God! You got it right. Not the Garden State.
It's not the Garden. I didn't say Garden State.
I can't remember if it was Garden State or Garden City. I couldn't remember.
I kept saying Garden City. Anyway, we were at the Forest City Comic Con. Wasn't really a wrestling road trip. It was more a trip for droidscanada.com. I got to be a photographer for the day. Apparently, I did quite well. And I had a great time. I did get recognized a few times, so there was a little bit of a wrestling aspect to it, because a few people actually recognized me as Matthew Terry, the ring announcer. But had a great time there. Now, before, just in case we don't mention it again, droidscanada.com is going to be at, where are we going to be?
We're going to be at Hamilton Comic Con on October the 1st.
That's this Sunday.
So
2 days after.
But Matt's not going to be there.
But Matt's not going to be there.
Where are you going to be, Matt?
Matt's going to be in Oshawa, Ontario with Alpha One Wrestling, as I am so apt to do.
But who's going to be there?
Okay.
You got to say who's going to be
Let's
there.
get that out of the way.
I want to go, but I can't go.
Let's get that out of the way.
Let's get that out of the way.
Okay, so I'm going to be in Oshawa, Ontario with Alpha One Wrestling. You can go to alpha-1wrestling.com to get all the information. But just announced, last week we said Cody Rhodes is going to be there.
Yep.
Fuck if I'm going to say his last name.
You remember Cody and Brandy Rhodes.
Just Cody Rhodes. It's Cody Rhodes. Okay, and we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Cody Rhodes. But Cody Rhodes is going to be there. Cody Rhodes is going to be teaming with All Ego Ethan Page. They're going to be defending the Alpha One Wrestling Tag Team titles.
The 2 stars.
The 2 stars against besties in the world, who I got a chance to see on Sunday. Fucking impressive. I am really looking forward to that match. Because the besties in the world, just absolutely wonderful tag team.
Okay.
And also, Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
Jesus, I'm so jealous of this.
He's going to be there this Sunday, and he's going to be facing the alpha male, Diamond Tiger Kobe Durst. So those 2 matches were just announced. And, we got
you got a huge card.
Got a huge card this Sunday. So if you can't get to Hamilton Comic-Con, then get to Oshawa. You know, hey, support droidscanada.com, support alpha1wrestling.com, or Alpha One Wrestling, period.
So Julian owes you a quarter.
No, he doesn't.
He gets a free pop?
You know what? No. And you know what? Julian doesn't owe me a darn thing. Him and I had a nice little conversation on Sunday, and he knows that I'm a family man now.
Yep.
Like I've been married now for how long? Oh my lord, 8 years.
8 years. I was actually going to say 5. I don't know why.
No, I've been married now for 8 years.
I've known you for 5.
Yeah, obviously I have my son now. My son's going to be 2 very soon, and Julian realizes that I'm a family guy, and he appreciates the fact that I take time out of my family schedule to to go and do what I do with Alpha One Wrestling.
You do have a sweet job when you really do think about it, because you get to see, being a ring announcer, and you're doing the whole kayfabe thing, which goes back to the conversation about when that guy got injured during that table match, and you just did not flinch during that. And I'm like, I couldn't tell, and I'm going to give props to Alpha One Wrestling for that. I was sold on that bump, very sold on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in a great position. You get to watch like Colt Cabana and Cody. This is going to be the third time for Cody Rhodes, is it not?
Yeah, this is going to be the third time for Cody Rhodes. I think this is the third time for Colt as well.
You also have one of my favorite wrestlers. I can't remember his name. It's the Ben Affleck guy.
One of my favorite wrestlers.
He is. I just can never remember his name.
Alex Daniels. And Alex Daniels is going to be wrestling his retirement, like complete retirement match.
What?
Yep, November 26th.
Oh.
In Hamilton for Alpha One Wrestling. That's going to be his absolute final wrestling match.
Oh no, that's going to break AJ's heart. He likes him too, because we love the Ben Affleck shtick. We love it.
Well, then I guess you got to come.
We are actually. It's funny. We're going to talk about that offline, though.
Okay, we're going to talk about that offline.
Well,
now everybody's going to be wondering, what the fuck? Why can't they talk about it online?
I'll be bringing some people.
Okay.
More than two.
More than two?
Maybe 8.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Well,
we might need a row.
Well, then you better get on it, because
we might need some gold tickets.
Well, tickets are...
They're not on sale yet, are they?
Yes, they are.
What, for November?
They went on sale on Sunday, and they're already doing really well. So...
Okay, I'm going to have to call in some favors. Luckily, I know an announcer.
No.
All right, anyways.
Anyway, so there's lots of things that we want to talk about. There's okay, let's not.
Should we get them prepared for a long show? Because it could be.
Yes, it could be a bit of a long show.
So go run on the treadmill and listen.
Yeah,
to this.
Yeah, if you're hitting the gym, this is a gym podcast.
Oh, for sure.
If you're on your way to the gym, press stop right now. Wait till you get on the treadmill. Wait till you get on the bike. Something like that, and then turn us back on, because this is going to be a while. This isn't a drive. This is not a commuting.
No.
Like, unless you work, more than an hour away from your home, this is not a commute podcast.
But you also brought something today that we're going to air during this show.
I did. Oh yes, yes.
The whole purpose.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about the belt.
No, I'm going to go get the belt.
Okay. I have the Moonshine branded wrestling belt back. We're not going to get too much into that, except the fact that it is here. I might leave it with Todd for safekeeping. And
well, yeah, because the last guy, don't want to say.
No, that's what we're not talking about. It came back in a little.
AJ did not take care of this belt well. I mean,
yeah,
he beat it up really bad.
He did. Anyway,
there's gonna be an Instagram photo.
Okay, there's gonna be an Instagram photo of this. But yeah, the belt is here. But also, what I brought along this past Sunday, I did get the opportunity to sit down with ACH, and like most of if you've listened to the podcast before, I don't. So who trained you? And who
I'm
are
happy
your
that you
influences?
don't do that, and that was one of the main reasons why I like your interview structure. Because you're like, let's talk about who trained you. But you're like, no. Let's talk about shit that's going on in the world.
Let's
and if we make it to wrestling, we'll get there.
Yeah, let's talk about current events, or let's talk about stuff in wrestling that nobody's talked about. Because there are so many podcasts out these days, so many podcasts. So sometimes it is difficult to figure out something to talk to someone about that hasn't already been talked about. So I pride myself in the fact. And yeah, we talk politics with ACH.
We have. Well, you have.
Yeah, we talk politics. We talk Black Lives Matter. We talk about the.
Well, don't give away the farm. Let them listen.
Okay, well, we'll let you listen, but it's about 16 minutes, and the first 10 minutes, I don't even think wrestling comes up. I don't think the word is even said in the first 10 minutes.
But we should probably talk about wrestling before we get there.
We should talk about wrestling.
A lot of things have happened.
Let's not glaze it over.
No.
Did you watch No Mercy?
We did, actually. You weren't able to attend.
No, but I did watch it at home. I did. Well, I caught the last two, and then I went back and I.
Is it sad when I feel that the women's match was probably one of the better matches?
No. Now it's.
I know you're gonna have that old train of thought. Women's matches are never good, but
no. I like the women's matches. I think the two mega matches, because they were saying they're WrestleMania type matches. I think they were. If you take those matches off of No Mercy, like the matches that we watched, you take those matches off and you put them in the stadium, the glitz, the glamour, the huge entranceway, all the bells and whistles of WrestleMania, then I think, because everybody said, oh, there was just that one thing missing. There was just that one thing that wasn't there. It's the glitz and the glamour of WrestleMania.
Well, I think the biggest, I give up. But you're going to take the photo. Yeah. If you're wondering, I do have the Moonshine branded
Yeah, he
belt.
still has the Moonshine
Have it on
branded
the shoulder
wrestling
right now.
championship on.
I think what the problem with No Mercy is that they built a great card. The card looked great going into it. You're thinking, first thing you're thinking of going into this card, Braun Strowman's going to be the champion.
Yeah.
There's just at that point, the internet has leaked that Brock Lesnar only signed on No Mercy, but he'll pick up dates later on. But that's how it was. Unfortunately, Strowman, and this what really pisses me off. If you're going to build the guy as a monster, defeat him as a monster so that he keeps his credibility. And I think that Braun lost a lot of his credibility. And what I read after the fact, after that match, he was booed out of the arena because the crowd was that upset that he did not win. He dropped 1, 2, 3, 4 power slams and choke slams, and he like he did in true fashion at the last pay-per-view. He just completely decimated Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And what does Lesnar do? Sneaks one F5, a poor F5 on top of it. Sneaks it, gets the belt. You're like, what the shit is that? But
I would have rather. But then, did you see the backstage interview with Paul Heyman?
No.
If you or the people who are listening, if you have it and you get the opportunity, watch the WWE exclusive interview with Paul Heyman after the match. That is the Braun Strowman kicking out of the F5. That's the Braun Strowman. That redeems Braun Strowman 100 times. And you like just the promo that Paul Heyman cuts in the exclusive WWE.com interview after the match, and that puts over Braun Strowman. Puts him right back to where he was.
Moving back to the women's match, I don't know. It's funny because me and AJ were having that argument that he's like, no, Alexa's not gonna sneak the win. I'm like, but that's her character, right? Mm-hmm. She doesn't have clean wins. It's always a sneak in some way, shape, or form, and she's great at it. But at the same time, though, what came out of that match was putting over Nia Jax. Mm-hmm. Really put her over, made her more of a credible competitor than ever before. She took some really nasty bumps. That one over off the apron
with the double power bomb.
That did not look healthy.
No.
At all.
No.
But she took it, and then she took the ring post bump.
Yep.
Which was pretty good too. So good for her.
Yeah.
But the controversy on the internet right now, I don't know if you read it yet or not.
What's that?
Is that she was the only person that had her weight announced.
Yes, I noticed that.
It didn't bother me. I gotta come out and say this. Nia Jax is a bigger woman, but she is fucking sexy as shit.
Yeah.
I fucking think she's gorgeous.
It bugged me in the aspect of, why'd you do that? Like,
well, and they caught up with Kurt Angle, and he gave the whole spin of, well, we want to show, show the diversity. I can't remember the exact words of it. And I'm like, you should still never have announced her weight. If you had no intentions of announcing anyone else's weight, that's maybe on. I don't know if that's on the announcer. I don't know if that's on the cue cards.
No. That would
be... I don't know who it's on, but I don't think it's necessary. Everyone knows Nia Jax is a monster in the women's division. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just
by looking at her,
just by looking at her, she eats fucking these girls. Like, I don't know why Emma was even in the match.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that she's not a good wrestler, because she's okay. Maybe she's not, but Bayley has no business being there either. It was just kind of like a last second fill in.
Yeah.
I am personally sick of Sasha. Done. Cannot get past the first title defense.
Yeah. I'm getting sick of Sasha. That I'm getting tired of she's the perennial contender.
Who cares?
I know, but she's always a threat, and just okay. Yeah, she's always a threat, but give her a title reign.
I don't know. I think her rivalry against Charlotte proved that she cannot carry a match without a great competitor beside her. And that's synonymous with the Flair name. They put on great matches and they make their opponent look fantastic no matter how shit they are. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, honestly, maybe it should have just been an Alexa versus Nia kind of match. Mind you, it would have been a little bit of a squash in one way.
Yeah.
But in the other, Alexa has that persona of sneaking, just squeaking away with it, and I like that because it gives value to the belt, and it continues the storyline. Which leads to my next point, which I will get your opinion on that. What is going on with Bray and Balor? This should have been Bray's match, and then the next match would have been the rubber match.
Yeah, Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
It's Vince McMahon that I know he's getting senile, and I love Vinnie Mac as much as anybody else, but he does not know what's going on.
I'm not complaining in the aspect of Balor and Wyatt. They put on good matches.
Yeah.
No Mercy was probably the best match I've seen with them.
Mm-hmm.
The best pure match. But yeah, when No Mercy was over, I thought that was over and that they would branch off and do something. But then on Raw, just like
See, it's hard to explain because you're trying to figure out what the mindset, what the path is.
Well, but WWE does this all the time.
Oh, shit.
WWE does it all the time where I sit there and I go like, I have no clue where they're going to go with this. And then when they go somewhere, I'm going to say 50-50.
Okay.
They're batting 500 where I go like, oh, okay, I see where you're going with this. So, but that's one, I don't see where they're going to go from here.
There's so much. I should be a writer for WWE. I stress that a lot. And I'm great at creativity, and I'm great at pulling shit on my ass. But what really confuses me is that the sky is the limit with Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. They both have a supernatural connection, and that's what's telling AJ is that this is the match where it's Finn Balor the man versus Bray Wyatt the supernatural. And he could have had that win. It could have been a cheap win, but it would have been a win. And then that would have motivated Balor to go, we need to continue this feud. I need to beat him. And it's like, I beat him twice. Now what?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm really worried. Is Bray going to be back in NXT or on the Indies by the end of the year?
I don't know.
I feel like they really have given up on him.
I don't know if they've given up, but it just seems to me like they have him in a holding pattern. Just, let's just keep him around until we figure something out.
Well,
and they're not figuring anything out.
Yeah.
And the fans are starting to like, oh, it's the same old. He's going to come on. He's going to talk gibberish. And
I love Balor's vignettes. And you know what they remind me of? They remind me of Jake Roberts a lot.
Yeah.
The vignettes, they don't have to make sense. There was a lot of shit that came out of Jake the Snake Roberts' mouth. You're like, but it still made sense. Like, at the end of it, you're like, I don't know what he said, but that guy's going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the Cesaro tag match.
Yep.
Oh.
That's why people wear mouth guards.
I bet he was wishing his teeth did break out of his face.
Yeah, probably.
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
But that was a decent tag match.
Oh, it was. Oh, they have great chemistry.
Something that SmackDown doesn't have is a good tag team division.
It's
all right.
Decent, but it's not a great one.
It's not that great. The only thing is that you got what team's on injury right now?
On SmackDown?
Raw.
On Raw, the Revival.
When they come back, shit's gonna go all over the place. Yeah. They're a solid tag team.
Yeah.
Then you got Seth Rollins. You got Dean Ambrose after Raw. Now they're hinting the reunion of the Shield.
Yep.
So that means Reigns is going to be out of the heavyweight race for a while.
Yeah, you got the Club. You got, I guess the Hardy Boys are on the shelf. Well, Jeff is.
Jeff is.
Yeah, Jeff's on the shelf a little bit.
And then, who else do we got there? Well, I don't even know where Ascension is. Where did Ascension end up?
Ascension ended up on SmackDown.
Well, I don't know.
I've always liked Ascension.
Oh, the LOD 3000? Not
no,
2000.
No, not
3000.
Not that, but okay, I'm okay with them.
I like the concept
painting their
of them.
face. I'm okay with them. I wasn't okay when they were trying to be LOD 2017, and they were coming right out and saying, "I'm better than Animal. I'm better than Hawk," and blah blah blah. And,
do you think that WWE has given up on the concept of stables? I'm talking like NWO-esque, Degeneration-esque level stables. Now it's like the most they'll ever do is like a 3-person group. Nothing else.
The Miz Taraj, the Shield.
Well, here's the thing: is that the stables work very well, and we'll get to the Bullet Club later. But one of the biggest stables out there.
Yeah.
But why not? And I'm going to go back. Did I tell you my theory about what they could do with Bray Wyatt?
Yes, you told me that, but go ahead and...
All I'm just saying is that Bray Wyatt is floundering. He was floundering ever since the Wyatt family has fallen apart.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, he did have a title run briefly. And he had that really weird match at WrestleMania. And then that really weird House of Horrors match. But there's no Wyatt family. That's the point. The Wyatt family is what gave them structure. Rowan, okay, gets hurt a lot, kind of creepy looking. You had Harper. Harper was solid.
Mhm.
And you had Strowman before he was Strowman.
Yep.
And Ascension are not doing anything. Put them in. It kind of makes sense. They're already kind of that type of character. Do a little repackaging, and then he can start rebuilding the Wyatt family. And then he can start taking on like the groups, like start taking on the Shield, and then start taking on the New Day. Who gives a shit about the New Day?
Well, the New Day's on SmackDown right now.
But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
who
but no,
cares?
people like that. What I was kind of hoping after No Mercy, and I never get into fantasy booking that often, but what I was kind of hoping, and I guess it was in the back of my head, so when the opportunity presented itself, it came out of my head. When No Mercy was done, and I thought Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor are done.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can go. I did the result of the match. I didn't see them going back to Brock and Braun. That have Bray try to re-recruit Braun and say, like, you're a broken man. Not to rebuild him, but for Braun to say, like, get away from me.
Did
like,
have Braun steamroll them.
yeah,
essentially.
exactly. Like I would have liked to have seen something like that.
Right.
But obviously we're not going to go that direction.
No.
But yeah, like fantasy booking is fantasy booking. So do you want to get to ACH right now?
Let's get to that because I'm pretty sure when we get into the other topics, it's going to be a lot more lengthy.
That's where it's going to get a little more long-winded.
So where was this interview?
This was at the Alpha One Wrestling Show. This was in Hamilton this past Sunday on the 23rd?
Fourth?
4th? 5th? Whatever it was, the 24th.
24th.
So this was on September 24th. This was at the Alpha One Wrestling Show. This was after the show. I had actually approached ACH before the show, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. But then he started to do something, and then I started to do something, and then I got stuck at a Tim Hortons buying food. And because I'm at the Tim Hortons, and I'm buying food for some of the wrestlers.
Right.
And I get up there, and they don't sell breakfast anymore. This is like 12:30. So they don't do breakfast anymore. So now I'm trying to message back to the venue saying, okay, what's your next option? But every time I would hit send, it would say message not sent.
Oh.
Message not sent.
Were you with Rogers?
No.
Oh.
I'm with Virgin.
Ooh.
But I'm like, message not sent, message not sent. So I'm trying text messages and I'm trying Facebook Messenger and nothing's being sent. I re-up my phone. Power cycle, whatever you want to call it.
Power cycle your phone. Yeah.
Okay, you're the professional. Power cycle.
Yeah.
It came back, message not sent, message not sent, message not sent. So I don't know what the hell's... And all of a sudden, everything fucking starts getting sent. And I'm getting messages from 6 or 7 different people. Like, what? Because I'm messaging people like, well, maybe it'll work to this person. Well, maybe it'll work to this person.
Right.
So I'm saying, can you go ask so-and-so, ask ACH, ask Stokely Hathaway, whatever, what they, and all of a sudden, all these messages are going through at the same time. Now I'm getting all these messages back saying, well, do you still need me? Like, what's going on? Do you still need this? Da, da, da. Oh, I went to him and he's already talked to someone. And so I'm getting all these messages back. So I ended up staying at the Tim Hortons for like 45 minutes just trying to get this freaking thing done. Anyway, so long story short, or long story even longer.
Long story even longer.
Long story even longer. ACH and I just didn't have the opportunity before the show, but then immediately after the show, him and I sat down.
Oh, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to do a little bit of a promotion, and then we'll listen to the interview. So stay tuned. Be right back. Dun, 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 dun. Salsa Shark. We're going to need a bigger boat.
Throughout history, they have been a part of our Canadian life. Men and women who have made their mission to entertain their fellow man. They've worked hard enough. Isn't it time they had their own podcast?
Droids Canada. This podcast would be great if it wasn't for the internet trolls.
I don't bother them, and they don't bother me.
I could do without the bad reviews in the iTunes store. You have that podcast with that guy who was at that Comic-Con in the last year?
You should hear the barrage of the stupid questions I get on our SoundCloud account.
What do you mean there was coughing? How am I going to hear a podcast with coughing?
You feel a lot better if you just rip into the occasional guest.
You're a host who doesn't get paid. You can't just do anything you want while you're recording.
What kind of podcast are you running here anyways?
Droids Canada Podcast present.
You think anyone can see us down here?
Why, you think you want to have sex or something?
Can we?
Droids Canada Podcast. The only show to rip off a Clerks trailer.
You hate people!
But I love Comic-Cons. Isn't it ironic?
Generally, my podcast, I don't do, so who trained you?
Okay.
And who's your inspirations? I try to think of different stuff that other people don't ask. And actually, from today, you seem kind of like a political guy.
Me?
I've talked to you in the past here, but or is it just because we were talking about the Trump thing? Are you a political guy, or is it just the Trump thing?
I don't follow politics. I only read what catches my attention or what I am sensitive to. Like something, whatever. Like if I see something and it affects me emotionally, I'll dive into it and I'll try to get an understanding of it, and then I'll just kind of leave it at that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Talking politics with a lot of people, you're never going to change someone's opinion on the situation if they have a different one than you, and it's just messy. It's no good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to bash the president because everyone does it. And to me, I feel like publicly bashing him is not going to change the situation. It's not going to make it any better. It's just putting negative things out there, and that stuff is going to manifest to more negative things. You know what I mean? I try to just put a positive thing out there. You know what I mean? That's what I try to do.
Now, people might not know because there's a lot of things that people are on Trump about.
Right.
We're referring to his comment about how any NFL player who takes a knee should be fired.
Right.
And we're recording this on Sunday. What's the date today?
What are you guys doing? Anyway,
23rd. Yeah, it is. And different players have been taking a knee. One of the Oakland Athletics in baseball took a knee today.
He was the first in.
He was the first in baseball.
The catcher.
Yeah, and so that's what we're talking about. What is your feeling about this?
I know why there are some people that find it offensive, and I always try to see things from both sides.
Yeah.
I try to be very neutral. Try to get an understanding from everybody.
As do I.
Right.
I try to be the best person I can be.
Right.
Because if there's someone judging me at the end, I'll let them deal with if someone else did something wrong.
Right. And I think growing up and maturing has a lot to do with understanding yourself and who you are as a person. And I think once you truly have a good opinion on yourself and understand who you are as a person, that the opinion of someone else is not going to affect you, because you deep down, you know the type of person you are. You know how you affect other people around you, and you know the type of person that you are. You know what I mean? So I feel like when I look in the mirror, I can either let what that person says affect me, or I can let what I say affect me. It only matters what I say. Now, I do take things in and take them in for consideration, because I feel like everybody needs criticism to be better. But there are just some people that are just completely negative and ignorant, and it's just like there's nothing you can say that can affect me. But my whole stance on the whole kneeling is I feel like it's not doing anything to anyone. I feel like they can be stepping on flags, they can be burning flags. There's so many things that they can be doing that is blatant disrespectful that can actually harm people or really do some harm, but they're just taking a knee. You know what I mean? It's like we could be in the streets holding up traffic. You know what I mean? There's so many things that we can be doing, but they're just just quiet, taking a knee. What's the harm in that?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, you're disrespecting the people that have, fought and bled for this country. And I was like, I don't think so, man. I just think they're taking a knee. And there are people that take a knee and still put their hand over their heart. You know what I mean? They're just saying, hey, I'm gonna just take a knee. You know what I mean? Like they're not mooning the flag during the national anthem, listening to music. You know what I mean? They're just taking a knee. What's the harm in that? What are they doing? There's riots going on. You know what I mean? There's so much bad press as far as people try to make statements to get their points across, and these people are just taking knees. They're not flipping cars over, hitting people with cars. They're not dressing up in Halloween costumes, tiki torches, doing anything like that. They're just taking the knee, and they're just making a statement, and people are just up in arms, and they're spinning it. They're turning it and they're spinning it into something that's not really even there. And that's the worst part about it. It sucks,
Now, as we said, the Oakland Athletic took a knee today, and MLB immediately came out and they said, we support our country and we support that you should stand for the national anthem and everything. But we support all of our players and their beliefs. They kind of...
Contradicting?
Yeah, well, not contradicting, but they just kind of they didn't take a side. And NFL... I finally did read the statement. They didn't take a side. what's the point of even making
a statement, right?
a statement if
because they're trying to play both sides to the fence. Right now, the NFL is in a really bad spot. The ratings are as low as they've ever been, and they're trying to appease to everybody. You know what I mean? But what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And I feel like you got to understand the issues. Like when someone says Black Lives Matter, they're not saying your life doesn't matter, this person's life doesn't matter. They're just saying, hey, our lives matter too.
Yeah,
that's all.
Just a kind of a reminder.
Right, but everybody's like, no. Like I have watched videos. I've seen people break down the curriculum and the meaning and what it means to say Black Lives Matter. Not once has anyone said, hey, my life means more than yours.
Yeah.
And I have seen people go, no, you're lying. And it's like, no, he's telling you the answer and what it means, and you are choosing to ignore what he's telling you and completely turn it into something else. You know what I mean? Like you got October coming around, right? Breast cancer awareness. Imagine someone going, wait a minute, all cancers matter. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like this, it's just ignorance, and people are just refusing to learn and understand someone else's feelings towards something. Everybody just has their opinion, what they feel, and they choose to not, invite themselves into someone else's culture, or someone else's morals or something. You know what I mean? It's just selfish. Everyone's just selfish. Everyone just only cares about their opinions and what matters to them. That's all it is.
Now, I'm sorry I'm getting a little even deeper politically.
Oh, it's all good, man.
But here in Toronto, I don't know if you heard. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Black Lives Matter blocked the Pride Parade and said that they would not let the parade continue until the organizers agreed that the police would never march in the parade again.
In the Pride Parade?
In the Pride Parade. Because the police, in uniform and that, would march in the parade.
Right.
In support of Pride. Well, then Black Lives Matter blocked the parade and said, we're not going to let you go until you sign something that says you won't let police in from here on in.
Right.
And that's an example to me. Like, I agree, Black Lives Matter, but they're never saying that's a step too far.
Tupac put it best. He said, if you look at every generation has a different way of handling things, and as time has gone on, the way that each generation expresses themselves has gotten more aggressive than the last. And I think now at this point, our generation is like, we've knocked on the door, we've sat on the doorstep. Now we're banging on the door, kicking down the door, we're in here and we're like, hey, we're gonna have a seat. We're going to have a talk. You got to listen to us. We've been telling you these things for years. I'm not going to say that I agree with that. I feel like, I can see where someone can find that offensive, but I just think their approach is just a little bit more aggressive because they just want to be heard. That's all. Everybody just wants to be heard. And I feel like if people just sat down and just actually listened, just took off their filters, took out like their beliefs, and just tried to really deeply understand what someone is trying to say to them, I think the world would be so much better. But everyone's just like, nope, don't want to hear it. Nope. I already made up my mind. This is how I feel. Screw you. This is what I think. You know what I mean? Yeah. People just have to turn off their blinders, and they just have to open up their ears, open up their eyes, and see what's going on in the world today. Like when an African American is shot, sometimes the facts are not all the way out, and some people are like, this is, oh my God, they just shot another black guy and they're a black kid, and then there's people like, well, he was a criminal, and it's like, wait a minute, we don't know that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like everybody just wants to jump. You know what I mean? Everybody just wants to be right. Everybody just wants to be offended. I've never seen so many people that want to be offended. Like they just want to be mad. It's so toxic.
All right, let's add a little levity to this, and let's talk wrestling for just briefly, because my boss at droidscanada.com, which is where my podcast is, he's a huge fan of the Austin Vest video. He shows anyone that'll watch, or maybe not show, but he's always, the ACH with the vest and da-da. So I've wanted to talk to you anyway, but when he heard I was coming here today, he's like, well, you're going to talk to ACH? You're going to talk to ACH? I'll talk to ACH. So, and I've watched the video, and obviously it's very popular.
Thank you. It's probably one of the highest points of my careers.
Is it?
Yeah, definitely. It's one thing, whenever I do autograph signings, that's one of the top 3 things people bring up. They bring up the match itself, they bring up the Stone Cold moment, and usually it's the Jay Lethal match, the time limit match, or it's something from New Japan. So those are usually around those like top 3 or 4 right there. Yeah, those. But that is usually number 1, really, above everything else.
Now, I've been around wrestling now for 15 years, and I know there are wrestlers who their whole gimmick is mimicking someone else, be it Stone Cold, be it John Cena, be it whoever. Obviously, that's different in this instance.
Right.
Now, what is the thinking behind doing an homage like that? Like,
it was on the fly. Did
somebody just have a vest and like, hey, you know what? We should use that, or
it was on the fly. We just grabbed the vest, and the people were like, "Put it on, put it on." And
so this was all in the ring.
Yeah, and I remember putting it on, and I remember it was the first time I've ever been in like that type of appreciation and that type of like ruckus of like audience cheering. It was like the ring. They were hitting. There were so many people hitting the ring so hard. It was literally vibrating. Like usually when the people are hitting the ring, it's kind of just like okay. But literally, they were just boom, 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 boom. You were just like, whoa, this is intense. And that building is so small with so many people. Like you could just hear it just bouncing off the walls. The sounds. It was the craziest thing. People said the TV in the back was shaking, and the camera, like it was crazy, and just like. So well, I guess I'm Stone Cold for a couple of minutes here today. So everybody that is into wrestling today usually have been watching wrestling their entire life. So you can just mimic about almost anybody from the Attitude Era. It ain't hard if you've watched their matches over 100 times or if you've watched him growing up forever. So it's just like, I pretty much know what he does. He does it all the time. So I just became Stone Cold that day.
Now, I don't know. Have you ever met Stone Cold?
Never.
No.
Never.
Now, obviously, when they're saying put it on.
Right.
So before, during, or after, does it ever cross your mind, God damn it, what the fuck if I meet Stone Cold? Like, what's he going to think of this?
I honestly, I remember people were tagging him and The Rock and was like, oh my God, look at this homage, look at this, look at Kenny Omega and ACH, look what they did. And I'm always under the impression like, nobody pays attention, like nobody's watching, no one cares, because they've never replied back. So I was like, maybe they just didn't care or it wasn't cool enough to them. But if I ever meet him, I'm pretty sure like people are gonna bring it to his attention, like you gotta watch this.
Yeah.
So I know he's gonna probably be a little upset because of course ain't nobody gonna do it like Stone Cold, and he's just gonna be like, look, you got my punches and the luthes and the elbow. Like Stone Cold had his own flavor when he did his thing. So I've never really thought about like what he would actually say. I hope he likes it.
Well, no, and I actually thought this when he had Kevin Owens on his podcast, and Owens had just done the stunner recently. Right. So he starts busting his balls about the stunner, and in the back of my head, I'm just like, well, what the hell would he think of what ACH did?
Right.
So then I thought when I was going to talk to him, I should ask, like, did it ever cross your mind just like, well, I wonder what Stone Cold thinks of this?
It'd be great to be on the podcast and just kind of like have that one-on-one sit down, and he just actually goes, all right, what is it? Like, tell me. You know what I mean? I would love to like have a one-on-one conversation, watch that video live with him, and just get his reaction of like, oh man, this is great. You know what I mean? Like, I love Stone Cold. Like, he's a fellow Texan, so of course there's that, and he's just definitely one of the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? He was the Hulk Hogan of that era, so don't get no better than that.
Now, you're not with Ring of Honor anymore?
No more.
So what are you up to these days?
I am just freelancing, really getting a good feel of just working in different crowds, getting in the ring with different opponents every weekend, and just really digging down deep and finding out who I am as a performer and who I am as a wrestler, and more importantly as a person. And I'm just maturing as I go on because I'm facing different problems every day, every weekend, every show, every match, every opponent, and just really preparing myself for when I have that big call or, that big moment, and I'm just prepared, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I left a school and I went to another school that had a better curriculum. Not saying that Ring of Honor has lesser, but when you're doing it independently all by yourself now, I don't have a machine behind me. I am the machine. Mm-hmm. There's so much more going into it, and like I'm interacting with different wrestlers every day that are doing it independently and really struggling and really trying to make money. Like, whenever I talk to Ethan Page and he's just a salesman, he's like, got to interact with the people, this and this and blah blah blah. And so like, I'm like, all right, I'll get some merchandise, or I'll see how guys are like maneuvering in their shirts and how they promote themselves, and I go, okay, this is what I got to do. You know what I mean? So like, I'm really getting a good appreciation of the business side of wrestling this time and doing it independently by myself. Because, like, 5 years, I always had the machine behind me.
Yeah.
And so, like, I didn't have to get up and go get bookings because I always had a Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? So, like, I kind of lost that, like, fire inside of me because I always had the cushion to fall back on.
Yeah.
So, because they took good care of me. You know what I mean? For the time that I was there, they took good care of me. So, like, when it was like, do I want to go up the street and go wrestle? Nah, I got Ring of Honor next week. You know?
Yeah.
I always knew it was there. You know what I mean? Like it was guaranteed money. You know, and so I got lazy. You know what I mean? I lost the fire, like I said.
But now that fire is...
Oh yeah, it is burning definitely.
Oh, yeah?
Because I get excited like when someone announces me and I see an opponent and I look up their match. It's like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Or when I'm at a show and I like talk to the booker and like, hey, can I mix it up with this guy? You know what I mean? Because I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. And like being able to wrestle in Texas again and help a lot of young guys that don't get the opportunities that I got when I started, like that's fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people when I came up, there wasn't a lot of guys breaking out of Texas at the time. There's really no one but like Masada. And so like with me being able to go back home and wrestle these guys and let them know how it is outside of Texas and then help them push their stuff outside of Texas to get them to break out, it's a wonderful feeling, man. You know what I mean? I feel like the best opportunity in life is to give someone another opportunity, give someone that opportunity, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just really just blossoming into a beautiful person. That's it.
All right, well, thank you very much for all your time.
Thank you,
really
man.
appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thank you.
This podcast is a proud member of the Points of Interest Podcast Network. Visit us today at poipodcast.com.
All right, here we are back on It's Time to Fight. It's Matt Terry, it's Todd Poole. Now, there's something, as soon as I got here, we're in the studio, we're in the droidscanada.com studio. Immediately you wanted to talk about this. I want to talk about one aspect.
Okay.
And you want to talk about other aspects.
Okay.
Of course, one of the big things that happened, not on Raw, but at Raw.
At Raw.
The Bullet Club.
Oh shit, my bad. I should be punished.
Oh.
I should be punished.
Oh.
I'm muting. Okay, we're
He's
good.
popular.
I'm not popular. Oh. All right, we're good.
No one's buzzing my phone. Anyway, so let's see. The Bullet Club, Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, Adam Page, and Marty Scurll.
Seems oddly familiar.
Well, that's my thing. Okay, am I missing something? Am I missing something? Okay,
This may have happened twice before.
Okay, but am I missing something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the whole Too Sweet that they do.
Yes.
Okay, that's NWO.
That's an NWO WCW trademark.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
I'm sure there'll be a gag order for that eventually.
The Suck It. That's Degeneration X.
Correct.
The Invasion from Monday is okay. Is this an homage? Like, what am I missing?
Well, keep in mind, which a lot of people may not know, is there's a lot of indie darling wrestlers out there that are now gracing the NXT circuit. Adam Cole, baby, and some people don't know that these are the kids that grew up through the Attitude Era that was doing the crotch chopping in the Too Sweets and the playgrounds of their elementary and high schools. And now they're all grown up. And now they want, I think it's a homage to these people. They didn't go as far as the Generation X did during the WCW Monday Night Raws. But at the same time, though, Vince McMahon, or WWE, I wouldn't say are refusing. That is not the word I'd want to say. Are not open to the idea of doing cross-brand promotion. Because imagine if they worked out a deal with New Japan and ROH, because I remember they were in talks with ROH a long time ago about the library. If they worked out a deal and do rentals. Because keep in mind, they're not wrestlers.
Yeah.
They're independent contractors.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they can't. But what the infamous story, which I can't remember if we covered or not on the show, how Bullet Club got into Hot Topic is because the owner of Hot Topic went to WrestleMania, saw the Bullet Club shirts, and went, "Holy shit, these fucking shirts are sick.
Mm-hmm.
I want one."
Yeah.
He went to the vendors, and they're like, "We don't sell that." So what did he do? Called up the Young Bucks, and now they're selling hundreds and hundreds of thousands. I recently did purchase a Kenny Omega cleaner shirt.
Okay.
3 weeks ago, and I also have the original Bullet Club shirt as well. Because the Bullet Club, to me, is a huge kickback to when wrestling was good.
Okay.
So that's where I think going to Raw, they were already in the area anyways to promote a Hot Topic.
Yep.
going there. They didn't disrupt the show. They were in the parking lot, and they gave away free Bullet Club shirts.
Yeah. Okay.
How do you go wrong?
But like, have you seen the video?
No.
No. Okay. They immediately make reference, just like this is the whole DX thing. Now, okay. One little thing. The beginning of the video, Marty Scurll comes in and he's acting.
I love Marty Scurll.
He's acting exactly like they did in those videos, and he's got the megaphone, and he's like, "I thought we were doing an invasion." They're like, "Why are you wearing camo? Why are you wearing camouflage?"
Oh my god!
Okay. And
he's awesome.
He's just like, "Well, I don't know. Like, am I not supposed to wear camo?" Like, go change. Like, you're not supposed to be wearing camouflage. While one of the Young Bucks is wearing camouflage. They're sitting there talking to Marty Scurll, like, "Why are you wearing camouflage? Who wears camouflage?"
They do wear camouflage pants once in a while. I do see them in PWG wearing.
Okay, but that's fine.
Yes.
But that's what Marty Scurll is wearing, is camouflage pants.
Oh, Marty Scurll.
And one of the Marty Bucks.
One of the Young
Bucks.
Yeah.
One of the Young Bucks is wearing camouflage shorts. Mm-hmm. And then they said, "Go change." So then Marty Scurll goes and changes, and then they go to the next scene.
Right.
And one of the Young Bucks is still wearing his camouflage. Like, I don't know if somebody just didn't notice. Like, they must notice, but
they don't really care.
Anyway, no. Anyway. But I was listening to Dave Meltzer, I think it was yesterday, and he brought up the whole invasion.
Of course. It's Meltzer.
And he seemed to allude that there is no actual cease and assist for them to start. They said it's all like just a storyline to them.
Well,
that there is no actual cease and assist to say, stop saying suck it, stop saying,
hey man, whatever gets your ratings.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. But it just is it just an homage? Like,
you know what?
Because you see, I'm more. I don't go into the dirt, and I'm not an internet.
Oh, you're not into the dirt sheets.
I'm not into the dirt sheets. I'm not into the internet type stuff. So, but you are, which is why I think this is a great dynamic. So that's why I say, like, am I missing something?
I don't think so. I mean, it was only brought up once a few weeks ago that was. Beyond that, I have not seen anything else. I don't even recall even being brought up again since the initial article that I read. But this is a great sales strategy, especially with the big announcement, which we'll allude to in a minute. I think it was not necessarily a fuck you to WWE, but they're trying to show that smaller promotions like Ring of Honor have a fighting chance. Ring of Honor has a fantastic roster.
Yes, they do.
And the fact that, Vince McMahon can't even raid Ring of Honor. His roster is so big, he has talent literally sitting around fighting colon cancer by picking their ass.
Yeah.
Because you got guys like Apollo Crews and Ty Dillinger and, we'll see what happens with Bobby Roode, because you only get one good run out of Bobby Roode, because he's at the end cycle of his career. But you still have like Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, most of the women's division, tag team divisions, Ascension. Like, you have all these guys sitting around going, what do we do?
Yeah.
So him going to Ring of Honor and scooping up like Christopher Daniels, or picking up I don't want to say it. That's your announcement. You keep that to yourself. Or even picking up what's his name? Played Black Machismo. Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal. Like, Jay Lethal's a great wrestler as well. Or even going as far and trying to get Petey Williams, creator of the Canadian Destroyer. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need to, because his roster is so bloated right now.
Yeah.
But that's great for Ring of Honor, and that's great for Impact Wrestling, because they're looking forward to these guys going, fuck this. I can't do this anymore. I'm making okay money, but I'm not getting the screen time, so I'm going to go other places. Doesn't mean it works out. I mean, you have the guys like Brodus Clay, who went to Impact, and he was dropped. So did Test. So did so many guys like that. But the Bullet Club is beyond Ring of Honor. The Bullet Club is a world-renowned faction, stable. Stay with me. Stable. And they are not only a Ring of Honor, but New Japan. And New Japan loves the shit out of the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
And their t-shirts are super expensive. I want to put that on there. $40 for a shirt kind of hurts the wallet.
Oh, it does. It does. But it's, I can't remember where I was going to go with that, but it's...
Oh, you really lost your train of thought.
I really lost my train of thought. I don't even know what the heck brought me off of there. But yeah, like, the Bullet Club, I came into the Bullet Club late. I'll admit to it. Okay, like, it became an
so did I. Darling. Like, I mean, it wasn't something that I was all over from the inception. Yeah. It was, I watched PWG, fell in love with Kenny Omega. And the next thing I know, Kenny Omega's gone. He's gone to New Japan. And then the Young Bucks New Japan. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. And then the Bullet Club forms. And I think when I came into the Bullet Club is when Finn Balor left.
Okay.
Because Finn Balor was one of the creators
Yep.
of the Bullet Club. And then Kenny Omega, no, was it Kenny Omega that took over? It was Kenny Omega. And then
No, AJ Styles
it was
took
AJ
over.
Styles. No, sorry.
And then Omega.
It was after AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And the fun part is that anyone who's in the Bullet Club ends up going off to be something bigger in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
So the Bullet Club has a fantastic track record to show they put on great wrestling. They don't just take anyone. They take a guy that gets along with the boys, has a good career, is loved by everybody, and can put on a great wrestling match. No, sorry, not great. A high caliber wrestling match. Because, I mean, I can't think of a bad match with either Kenny Omega or Finn Balor or especially AJ Styles, or the Young Bucks. Marty Scurll recently is my new favorite wrestler right now.
Yeah.
Because I can't figure out how he does the finger thing. Cannot figure.
Okay.
He breaks the fingers.
Yeah.
Can't figure it out. Me and AJ have sat there and watched like countless hours of footage trying to figure out how he gets the snap noise.
Yeah.
Can't figure it out. So good for Marty Scurll. But now maybe it has to do with the other announcement why they were there.
Well, I don't even.
Oh, come on. We talked about it.
Wait, what did we talk about?
Who in the Bullet Club just signed a contract?
Who in the? I don't know.
Cody Rhodes is officially.
Oh yes,
with Ring of Honor.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
On
yes.
the day he signed his contract, he was flinging T-shirts at Raw.
Yes. Okay, yeah. So Cody Rhodes did sign his contract with Ring of Honor.
Yep.
And Al, this might be a good time to get into that.
Let's just mention that Terry has announced Ring of Honor.
Oh, yes.
So that's a feather in your cap.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I've never ring announced
Okay.
for Ring of Honor. I have hosted their meet and greets.
Oh, okay. I thought you ring announced.
No.
You could have just rolled with it.
I never did.
You could have just rolled with it.
No, because
You're too good of a guy.
yeah, but I don't, because it's still a goal of mine. Because when Ring of Honor comes to Toronto, I'm still there, and they know that that's what I want to do. The likelihood of it happening now is less than when it was before for a few reasons. Number one, I'm 40 years old now, and there's not a lot of market out there for a 40-year-old ring announcer. Even when I started doing it 3-4 years ago with Ring of Honor, I think, or maybe even 2 years ago with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
You know, a 36, 37-year-old Matthew Terry was probably a little more likely.
Likely.
Yeah, but you know, that's a whole other thing. But the whole Cody Rhodes thing, okay, and you and I have talked about this. Like you said, Cody married to
Cody and Brandy Rhodes. So we get away with saying Rhodes.
I want to say two things.
Okay.
Number one,
Uno.
I truly believe that Cody should be allowed to use the Rhodes name.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay.
As a side note,
I
don't think there's anything wrong with being called Cody Runnels, which is what his name is.
True.
Because everybody knows who he is. Okay?
Well, there's that select generation that, and I hate to say this because I really like Cody, a select generation that remembers him as Stardust.
Okay, there is a selection, but the name is not what, to me, the name is not what draws you to the poster. It's not what draws you to the commercial.
I agree.
It's the face.
I have met Cody Rhodes. He is a fantastic gentleman.
And if you look at a poster and, hey, is that Cody Rhodes? And then you look at the name and it says Cody Runnels, you're going to figure it out. Okay? I think Cody should be able to use the Rhodes name.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, on the video that we were talking about, the whole invasion, Cody says, we're here to save our friends. We're here to get back our friends. We're here to get back my last name. Okay?
Right.
I don't know if it's really an issue with Cody.
Well, when I was listening to the Talk is Jericho, he was on it last week, I think.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't really that much of an issue to him. You know, and then that's how they figured out that loophole.
Yeah.
On how to get his last name still put into, like, because they did the Brandy and Cody action figures, so you can say that. But I mean, honestly, he should keep the last name, and I think that's more of a Vince McMahon kind of thing. And if Vince McMahon was not in the picture and it was just Triple H and Stephanie running it, I think they would have let him have it.
I think, yeah, and especially if Dusty Rhodes was as important to the company as they're making it out to be, with all these homages to him, then they wouldn't have a trouble saying, you know what, Cody, here, you can take the name.
Well, they let CM Punk keep his name, and they let Adam Cole keep his name, and
Well,
anyone
that's kind of a newer thing, like the
that's
Adam
kind of a newer
Cole, Samoa Joe, AJ
they're letting
Styles.
them keep their indie names or their wrestling names for the longest time. Because if you repackage someone that came out of the indies or already was world renowned, that hurts their credibility because that makes the fan the fan like us, wonder, well, why did they need to get repackaged? They were perfectly fine as Marty Scurll.
But but at the same time, anyway, and again, the only reason I said I don't know if Cody has really raised a fuss, and you said on Jericho, it's not really a big deal to him.
Didn't seem like it.
But in the past, there has been people like, I can't use my name. I can't use my name. Ryback,
Changed
whatever.
his name legally to Ryback.
Yeah, but at the same but people who came into WWE as something. The Dudley Boys. Okay, the Dudley Boys came in as Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley, the Dudley Boys. When they left, now they
gave up their name.
They
became Team 3D.
Brother Ray, Team 3D, Brother Devon, whatever it was, and they
Ray.
complained,
Yeah.
we can't use our names. We can. You know what? And I don't pretend to know the workings, but to me, it would make sense that at some point, somehow, some way, whether it's Dudley Boys, Cody Rhodes, whatever, at some point, somebody put their name on a contract that said, you own this, Mr. McMahon. This is yours. So if you leave the company, you can't complain because you signed a contract that said, this is yours.
But you got to keep in mind, the generation that exists now is a generation that learned from mistakes from the previous three. As an example, not everyone's like Hulk Hogan who found loopholes into controlling his creative and controlling his name. But look at all those guys out there that had to give up their names because they were just like, oh my God, WWF. It's like, they're signing me. I have to agree to everything because this is my ticket.
But again, that was their choice.
But that's the thing, though. That was a different time then. Yeah. They didn't understand value because WWE and WCW had a different take. And I'm going to tip my hat up. I don't typically do the WCW, but I will. They said, hey, use your real names. I don't care. Mm-hmm. As long as you put out a good product, okay, somewhat good product, we'll be fine. Where WWF is like, no, you leave, I'm keeping your shit. That's just how life is. They're being that fucking crazy ex-wife that takes everything away from you and you're just left with the truck. Yeah. And I think what happened when Triple H started NXT and he started getting all these indie darlings coming in and like the AJ Styles and Samoa Joe's like, whoa, this is not going to work because they probably said, nope, we ain't signing. You need us more than we need you. Because the indie scene is so blown up right now. Mm-hmm. Well, trial and error.
Now, who knows? Because during that era where people were giving up their names and they were just like, yeah, Mr. McMahon, Mr. WWE, you can have my name. We don't know what AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, we don't know what they've signed over. Like, who knows? Maybe
they're veterans of the business, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think that they would... If that thing still went where, like, we can't call you well, then I'm not signing. Do you really think maybe AJ Styles, but do you really think Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode were in a position to say, then I'm not signing with you?
Yeah.
Do you think they were sought after that bad?
AJ Styles, if did not get signed to WWE, he would have stayed in New Japan and he would have made his money. But AJ Samoa Joe had his time, and same with Brock Lesnar. They all went over to New Japan and they realized, holy shit, I can make the same, if not more, being in New Japan and wrestle less. Because wrestling to them, it's not so watered down like it is over here. It's a delicacy. It's one of those things that if there's a wrestling show coming, that's like Metallica coming to, the ACC. Whereas here it's like just another NXT show. So I don't know why everyone's losing their mind over it. Mm-hmm. So when people start and Cody is a great example. He realized his self-worth very quickly when he left WWE because he's like, I don't know where I'm going. Mm-hmm. I have the infamous list. Have you heard about the list?
Yep.
He has his list of people he wants to wrestle and promotions he wants to work for just to say he did. And now he makes more money on the indies than he did with WWE. And he was with WWE since he was 18 years old.
Yep.
So I think if WWE, and this is a stretch because he just signed his contract with Ring of Honor, did want Cody back, they would be bending over backwards 3 times to get whatever he wants. He'll get whatever he wants because he's pulling in heads. Like, great example. Look at your Alpha One show. It was packed.
Yeah.
packed.
Oh yeah, no. Alpha or Cody Rhodes is probably the internet darling right now.
Absolutely.
Probably like I can't off the top of my head I can't think of anyone else that could just be plugged onto a wrestling show.
Yeah.
And garner that much of a response.
But it asks you the question though. It's like the infamous saying of you never realize how good something. You don't realize how good of something you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
And now they're going fuck. Now he's like headline New Japan. He was even an Impact. He left. Good for you, Cody. By the way, good for you. And Ring of Honor. And he goes to any indie show. It's sold out. Like the fact that he was in PWG at Bola last year, which was one on the list. He lost in the qualifying match. The first match, he gracefully lost. He didn't have to.
No.
He could have dropped the card. I'm fucking Cody Rhodes. No. He did his job. He put the guy over. I don't remember who it was. Put him over. And he's loved for it. Cody is loved. Well, he's either loved or hated. Depends where he is, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what the problem WWE is having now is that when they're trying to get these newer kids that been on the indie market, they're going to go, okay, I'm going to have to bend a little bit for this guy. Because that's new. Like SmackDown. I don't know if you saw the stills from SmackDown last night. Half-empty arena.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening? This is SmackDown. This is a live show.
Mm-hmm.
That arena should be sold out. It's going to get to the point that they won't be able to do live recorded shows in ACC. They'll be putting them in the Meridian Center. Which is nothing wrong with Meridian Center. It's a great venue.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about size.
Yeah.
Right?
But yeah, but I don't know if that's considerably like I don't think if you put Cody Rhodes onto a SmackDown or a Raw, I don't think that's going to.
Well, no,
I don't think that's going to sell at the ACC. I think that's just a sign of the times.
That's a sign of the times.
And I don't have a problem with them going to Meridian Centers or Civic Centers in Ottawa, which are half the size of ACC or I guess what is now the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa. And maybe that is something that they need to do, is to go down to Meridian Centers and stuff like that. Especially since if the rumors are true or what they say is that there's a lot of cost cutting going on.
Yeah.
You're going to pay less for a Meridian Center than you are for an ACC.
Yeah.
And, that's only going to benefit the bottom line. And it's going to be a full building.
Yeah.
Maybe keep those bigger, like the Staples Center, which they were in. I don't know where they were last night.
Right.
But save those for pay-per-views. And then when you're doing
absolutely
the WrestleManias, that's when you do the stadiums because that's what's going to draw.
They used to do Raw in Hamilton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a smaller venue.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sold. I remember almost fighting someone for tickets. But I think the big difference is, and go back to your cost-cutting situation, the major difference between the indies, do you know what the major difference between the indies and WWE is? The rating.
Okay.
This PWG era is killing them. I don't know if it's Vince pulling the puppet strings in the background saying, no, we got to keep it family friendly. Fuck the family friendly. You go to even Alpha One has that family friendly level, but he touches it. He touches that 14A in some of his segments.
Oh, yeah.
And some of his wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
So that you have that holy shit chant. Right? Yeah. You don't hear holy shit chants anymore. It's very rare. You hear, this is awesome. No. Back in my day, when you did a good match, you got a holy shit chant for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that a lot of the wrestling fans are going, this is boring. So now they're coming up with surveys. I don't know if you heard about that or not. They did a survey of what people would like to see.
Yeah.
And they voted for ECW.
Mm-hmm.
They want ECW back. They want to have those bloody, drawn-out matches with weapons. I mean, it's a niche market, fine, but ECW was off the wall. You never knew what was going to happen. You had HLA, you had hot lesbian action, you had guys putting women through tables, and they weren't even wrestlers.
Oh, no.
Imagine that now, though, when you have great wrestlers like Charlotte. I was going to say Sasha, but I'd be lying to everybody right now, and I don't like lying to people. Nia Jax, you got Mickie James, who was underutilized until this week.
Yeah.
What has she been doing? They've just been floundering her to do this whole thing on SmackDown. But the point I'm trying to make is that I think the crowd is so smart that they're at the point of, this is boring. Your storylines suck. You finally make a beast like Strowman. You fuck him over. And how you put him back over? You have him destroy all of 205 Live. That happened after they went off the air last
Well,
night.
he destroyed Enzo.
Well,
He didn't destroy anybody else.
oh, he killed everyone.
No?
Yep, because he put Heath Slater. Was it Heath Slater or Hawkins? One of the I get them mixed up. Through the wall,
Oh yeah. No, he went out there and he destroyed Hawkins.
Oh, sorry, I got them mixed up. The 205 Live locker room beat the crap out of Enzo.
Out of Enzo.
But the point
Which is something. Okay, I'm just going to call a slight timeout.
Oh, that was bad. I totally forgot about that.
Do you watch 205 Live?
No, absolutely not.
I am intrigued now. I watched it on the occasion because I would see who was wrestling, because it's a 1 hour show and they usually announce this is our main event, this is who's going to be appearing tonight. And so I had a couple people like TJP. I've had the opportunity to meet TJP a couple times, so I like to watch him. And there's other guys that I enjoy watching, but I never was, next week I got to watch to see what's going to happen. I'm going to watch next week to see what happens.
Right.
Because Enzo went on to 205 Live and he said, I walked out there and I told Kurt Angle, if anybody touches me, I want a clause that says if anybody touches me,
I read this.
If anybody touches me, they do not get a title shot ever, as long as I'm champion. And then every member of the locker room kicks the shit out of Enzo Amore, and then he went out on 205 Live and said, you know what? The whole roster was there. The whole roster kicked my ass. I'll admit it. I got my ass kicked by every member of the 205 Live. But now everybody's touched me. So now what am I going to do? Who's going to come at me for this title? So now I want to see what happens next week, because now I'm wondering, do we see Rey Mysterio? Is probably unlikely because there's been kind of back and forth on that. Do we see Ricochet? Do we see...
No.
Or, I mean, do we see a surprise?
Well, you bring back Evan Bourne? No, that'll never happen.
But do we see... Who do we see? Because he made a good point. Like, okay, that's a good point. Now what?
Right.
So next week, I'm going to watch. I might be disappointed, but...
Great possibility there.
Yeah, maybe on Raw, Kurt Angle says, well, we never signed the damn thing, or something stupid, some kind of loophole.
But here's a good question about Enzo. He has proven on multiple occasions he can't wrestle worth piss. He can't. He is not good. Technically sound. I don't know who trained him. Maybe we should have an interview and ask who trained him so we can go slap the piss out of him.
I think it was... why did my brain go to Johnny Rods?
I don't know. I don't know. Your point is,
anyway,
he can't wrestle. The fact that Neville dropped the strap to him, and it was purely focused on the fact of his merch sales. And, well, his mic skills, they're fine. I'm not going to argue and say that his mic skills are not good. He's not The Rock, he ain't Steve Austin, and he sure as fuck is not CM Punk.
No.
But he does have good mic skills. He knows how to rival a crowd. His merch sales, I don't even know why they sell, but that's the problem with business. You don't understand why things sell. You just hope they keep selling. Right? You got to keep in mind there's a guy out there in Canada right now who is a billionaire for making a plastic thing that roll up the rim of your Tim Hortons cup for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember seeing that on
just because.
Yeah. Or no, I saw it on the Dragon.
But I mean, it doesn't. And it kind of, in one way, it hurts the 205 Live because now the belt means nothing. But it helps the 205 Live because now you're going to get the ratings that they've been wanting. Because now everyone, it's kind of like people used to watch Ronda Rousey's fights for the longest time.
Yeah.
Because they were waiting for someone to knock the fuck out. Everyone was waiting for that. After her fifth match, I don't know if you're an Ultimate Fighter fan or not.
Yeah.
She did her one season Ultimate Fighter. You found out how much of a spoiled little bitch she is. So now you're like, I want this chick to get knocked the fuck out. Like, she has got a chip on her shoulder, and she's ignorant and she's rude. And it's kind of like Enzo. Everyone's like, someone's going to give it to him bad. And we hope it's going to be someone nasty.
Okay, on his Wikipedia page, it says that he was trained by the Performance Center. So I don't know what.
Oh my God.
I don't know what circumstances.
I actually remember reading an article that Triple H said, and I'm going to quote it, and he can get mad at me later about it, is that he said, I know Enzo's not good in the ring, but man, he can talk.
Oh, yeah. No, and it's true. But I think he's a passable wrestler. But I could see him on an Alpha One show. He's a passable wrestler. Is he a good enough wrestler?
I don't think he can go toe-to-toe with any guy in the Indies.
No.
Personally, you put him in the ring with, let's just say ACH. No. He will not keep up with ACH. No way.
No, he won't keep up with people, but
There's got to be a degree, though. There has to be a time where a wrestler has to learn the art. You can only. It's kind of like Eva Marie. I never watched a match with her, but all I've heard is how horrible.
She was. She was absolutely horrible.
But the point I'm making is that you're putting her in these situations where she has to wrestle, and the other person has to spend 95% of their energy selling it just to make her credible-ish. You can't make someone credible. Not everyone's Ric Flair.
No.
Not anyone can make Hulk Hogan look good. Doesn't happen. But I think I think it's a good marketing strategy. But that's it. I think eventually people are going to get finally fed up of Enzo, and then he'll be gone.
Well, I can't remember who. Actually, I think a few people have actually made the point. He has decent merch sales.
Very good merch
but
sales.
Now you're exposing him for the jerk he is backstage and in front. And are people going to... His merch sales...
But things are not supposed to make sense. Like Austin doesn't make sense.
No, I'm saying his merch sales are going to suffer. The one benefit that you were getting out of Enzo Amore is now, by turning him heel and making him into an annoying prick, you're going to hurt his merch sales.
I kind of agree but disagree. And the reason why for that, Neville is a shining example. Sometimes changing angle can work for you. Because you know what? I thought Neville was a great performer, but that's it. I didn't think of anything else by him. When he went heel and became the king of the cruiserweights, I'm like, this guy's fucking gold. Anything he does, I'm gold. I'm with him. Sometimes, and same thing with, like, look at Austin for an example. He was never supposed to be a phenomenon.
No, he wasn't. No,
he just happened. And you know what? And I think a lot of the problems they have right now. Wow, we're really going over the limit. That's fine. But we warned you it was going to be a long one. It's your fault. I think the thing that really pisses me...
How's the treadmill going?
How you doing? You running 3.5 miles an hour right now?
Are those calves getting tight?
Getting a little going. Start doing some jumping jacks. Impress me.
Start staring at that lady in front of you.
But one of the things that I don't know much about Sam Roberts' podcast, but apparently it's becoming very popular.
Yes.
Is that WWE is allowing the wrestlers to shoot on that podcast specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Why? That's first thing goes to the heel thing is you're setting these guys up to become a heel by accident. They can throw a hissy fit about something creative they don't like, and the crowd can go, well, you're making 5, 6, 700,000 a year. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I agree with them in a degree, though. I think the writers don't let them go like they used to do in the 90s, where they said, Rock, you're mad at Austin. Go do something funny. Go do something to blow your mind. They had their ability to make their own character. And even Steve Austin, I listened to his podcast on the odd occasion, said himself, he goes, that's the problem with the WWE is that they're so afraid since the CM Punk pipe bomb, which don't mention that CM Punk, he hates hearing about it, that they're afraid that people are just going to start blowing up like that all the time and they won't be able to control their talent.
Yeah.
And I think you got to have that risk without reward. You got to have the risk. Because you could be holding someone down that's gold and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You don't even know him. But that's my 2 cents about that. Enzo Amore's a bitch. The end.
See, that's why I'd like on their house shows, I'd like to see them let them freelance a little more.
Well, they do a little bit. Like when I saw SmackDown Live last year, they let Miz do whatever the hell he wants. But Miz is pretty gold on his own regards.
I don't really pay attention to the backstage stuff, but I tend to think, I remember someone saying that Miz is one of the ones that has carte blanche to go out there.
Well,
they give him bullet points rather than here's your script.
Look at the angle he did with Daniel Bryan.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's kayfabe,
yeah,
to a degree. It's hard for me to swallow some of the comments he's tossed at Daniel Bryan, which were very hurtful.
Yeah.
Very hurtful.
No, I'm sure there's like, okay, hey Daniel, I'm going to say this.
I'm going to be beating the shit out of you tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to say this and this. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there anything that's off limits? Like, no. And then, like, what Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart was supposed to be was, I'm going to say this, this, and this. Give them bullet points. Are you cool with that? Yeah. And then after the show, if there was anything that was hurtful or any lines that were crossed or you're getting close to something, well, then they were supposed to talk about it. But apparently one of the things was they didn't talk about it. They're just like, I'll let this slide.
Yeah, we'll see where it
I'll
goes.
let this go.
But that makes for interesting television, and it leads to spontaneous, situations. I think a lot of things that hurt WWE right now, besides the rating, is the fact that creative holds on to them so much and goes, "Oh, you're going to go too far." Like, look at the Cena Roman shoot they did.
Mm-hmm.
Roman's got obliterated. Because John Cena has those liberties. He can go out and say what the hell he wants. He's the face that made the place, or runs the place, or shits the place. I don't know. He places places. But then you have Roman Reigns is like, "Oh, stop. You suck."
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is this? You're supposed to be the guy who put The Undertaker down. And even that match was such a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Cena hit him with 2 STFUs, which, good to hit STFUs, whatever. FUs. They're FUs. They're not attitude adjustments. They're FUs. Okay?
PG.
Fuck the PG. And Roman Reigns is like, "I'm going to throw a Superman punch there. 1, 2, 3. I'm like, what is this? Like, you couldn't... This is supposed to be a once-in-a-lifetime match. I know it's bullshit. But once-in-a-lifetime match between John Cena, who was the original face runs place, handing the torch to Roman Reigns. And you're like, there was no torch handle. It's him going, drops it on the mat and walks out and lets Roman Reigns pick it up. Like, I don't know. I'm really worried about the creative. I really am.
Well, I watch Raw, but I'm more apt to record it and watch it the next morning while my son plays and fast forward over stuff, because on Monday night I won't watch it, but then I'll read the review or the recap.
Yeah, that's what I typically do.
And then the next day, while my son plays and we get ready to go to daycare, I'll fast forward to the parts that sounded interesting to me.
I don't even do that. I don't even waste the bandwidth anymore.
Oh no, I have it on.
The
on
last
PVR.
exciting Raw show I watched was the one that Matt Hardy showed up and beat the shit out of Edge. That was a good one because they really played close to heart on that. But I think one of the articles I was reading today, we'll be wrapping it up soon, but one of the articles I read today was the fact that WWE needs to start thinking about the long term. That the generation of TV watching or whatever is now about binging. It's all about binging now. It's about sitting at home and watching countless amounts of hours of TV because you're a loser and have no friends. And the fact that they hurt themselves by not putting the WWE Raw and Live on the network is very crippling in one way. Because people don't want to pay subscriptions to certain things. They don't want to hunt down the USA Network. And sometimes people don't have time to do that. Sometimes if you're outside doing something other, maybe you want to watch, it happens, want to watch Raw on your phone.
Yeah.
You're throwing that away. I understand they can't do it because their contracts.
Yeah.
But when that USA contract comes up, I implore them to cut it from 3 to 2 hours and work out a deal so that USA still gets Raw, but they can also stream it on the network. And if they bump the price from $9.99 to $15.99, no one's gonna bitch. That I don't think anyone's gonna throw a hissy fit over that.
I don't think anyone's going to throw a hissy fit, but obviously it's the bottom line. It's the dollars, and obviously WWE would have to give up a few dollars.
Well, yeah, but they control their sponsors at that point. They control their commercial breaks. They become
on the network. They
on
do.
the network. That's the point.
But USA isn't going to.
I don't know.
Offer them the same.
It would be the first time they left USA either.
No, it wouldn't be.
But I mean, the fact that they worked out a deal, which is still mind-boggling to me, that they said we can produce a 3-hour show every week, is mind-boggling. Because if I downloaded it right now and watched that 3-hour show, I would actually physically watch 47 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Fast forward.
Yeah. Which is what I do.
It's
sometimes
sad.
I don't even watch 47 minutes.
But that's why I think having it on the network is so much better, is because they're still going to count as a hit towards the rating in terms that they watched it, and then people can control what segments they want to watch. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, like, you can't do that on the pay-per-views, obviously. Well, you can after it's done, but the problem is the Raw and SmackDown shows are just not interesting enough to a person like me, which I'm a pretty hardcore wrestling fan, and I can't be bothered to watch it. Just can't. I'll just wait till the next day, and I'll go to the Bleacher Report. I'll read what happened.
Yeah. Either that or I'll go to YouTube, and they usually have all the segments kind of broken up
and cut and sliced for you.
So you can watch. Okay, yeah, that's the one I want to see. That's the one I want to see. If I forget to push record on Raw or SmackDown, it's just like, oh, hey, there it is. There's the segment. There's Enzo Amore getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there's this. So
it's just so frustrating to me that they're just throwing away all these different things they can control. Like I said, going back to the sponsors thing, they would get a lot of sponsors if they streamed it on WWE Network, because they control their spots. They control the length of their spots. They control the frequency of those spots. They can't control that with USA Network, because USA Network is like, okay, we're putting on who we think should be the advertiser and who we think we should be pushing the hardest right now, because we have a contract with them to air them. WWE loses that revenue. They don't even get it.
Yeah.
Their revenue extremely comes from just USA Network and what USA Network probably thinks they should have. But that's just me. Vigorous jazz hands. Vigorous jazz hands.
All right, how far are we in?
Minute 20. Hour 20. Minute 20.
Minute 20.
Might as well round it up in 10 minutes.
All right.
We got up in the... StarrCade.
What about it?
What about StarrCade?
What about it?
SmackDown only pay-per-view? Come on.
It's not a pay-per-view.
Well, it's something, because I saw the match card today. Wasn't too happy with it.
No, it's going to be a decent... I think it'll show up on the network. I think it'll be one of those house show, or what do they call it?
Oh, it's a live show or a house show.
Yeah, it's a live show, but they were calling it, they had names for it when they did it in Toronto and when they did it another one.
Well, it was the Bobby Roode going away tour.
In Japan. Anyway, they had like a name for it.
I'm already annoyed with the fact that there has been no effort to try and make this more as a WCW. There's got to be throwbacks to it. Like, come on. They have the Rock and Roll Express coming in. Those are really the only old-timers on. Jinder Mahal is wrestling Shinsuke on that card.
Yep.
Why? That's the thing I'm saying, is that StarrCade, people love, which WWE forgot, is that people love campy sets. They love the unique pay-per-views like Halloween Havoc and Fall Brawl and Bash at the Beach. Hog Wild. Hog Wild, believe it or not, I actually enjoyed that pay-per-view because it was such an open landscape. Yeah, the motorcycles. But
I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
You didn't like Hog Wild?
I didn't. No. Road Wild, Hog Wild.
Well, yeah.
Uncensored? I was fine with uncensored, but Hog Wild, Road Wild, whatever the fuck it was called at what time, just those motorcycles just like and just, I don't know.
But don't you miss those sets, though? I feel like they just gave up on creativity.
I definitely miss sets. I think every pay-per-view should have its own
Halloween
theme.
Havoc was just your typical arch. Looked like you're coming out of a fucking morgue, what we call it, a funeral home with a giant pumpkin.
Yeah.
But you're like, but it's still cool.
But you associated that with Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
Tell me what the set was for No Mercy. Tell me what the set's going to be at Hell in a Cell.
So I remember Backlash used to have those giant hook things. Those were pretty cool.
Yeah. Hell in a Cell. Maybe they'll have like the chain link fence up or what have you.
Yeah.
But just
what happened? Like you can't tell me that production was that expensive for it, because it's probably a fraction in comparison to the giant TVs and fucking sidebar image screens. Yeah. Like, just make it campy. And I hope, and I'm hoping, like Obama right now, as I always say, is that they make it the StarrCade set. The original StarrCade set. I know I'm asking for...
I think it's just going to be a network special, and...
But stop being cheap, though. That's going to get, believe it or not, it sounds stupid, but you're going to get fans back. Just from going, oh my god, they're doing Halloween Havoc. Like, even if they had, like... Oh, I don't know. What would be... Glacier's wrestling again. He's in Ring of Honor.
I think that was a one-off.
But still, the point is, there's going to be literally no one from WCW. I don't even... Was Rock and Roll Express ever in WCW? Like Morty and...
I don't know if they were ever...
I know they were in Smokey, and they were in
They were in NWA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were there when everything switched over to WCW.
Like, you can't tell me there's no original WCW wrestlers still active right now, which they are. They could work out a whole deal, like an NWO deal. Like Hogan, come on. He's been forgiven. Everyone knows he's been forgiven.
Yeah, but he's not going to wrestle.
No, but he can do something. He can do an angle.
Oh, no, you can bring
Scott Hall's looking way better than he ever did in his life.
No, you can bring in guys like that. And
Sting?
Yeah, to make the appearance, wave their hands. be an enforcer, whatever. But
I think Vince still has that resentment.
No. I think the only guy that could probably still go is probably Goldberg.
And he said he's open to it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got, oh my God, they had such a huge roster. But I mean, I get that everyone's aged and everything, but do something like themed to do as a throwback. And then you'll get those old fans that left to come back and go, they're doing Fall Brawl. With what was it? War Games with the two rings.
Which is something that they've, well, from what I hear, something they've always discussed. I wouldn't mind seeing a War Games being produced by WWE.
Why not? They did the ECW one night stands, and both of them were very profitable.
Oh yeah.
So the nostalgic angle does work.
Oh yeah. And even if you said, okay, we're gonna have a War Games match, you're gonna get a lot of fans who may not have even been around or seen those. May have checked it out on the internet, like, oh hey, let's go check out what this. I've heard about this War Games thing. Let's do that. I think War Games is probably the gimmick, lack of a better term.
Even better, bring back Tony Schiavone for one night only.
I've never liked Tony Schiavone.
Bill Goldberg.
I've never liked Tony
What's his
Schiavone.
name? It was Schiavone, and he was all. Remember his name? He was also an announcer for TNA for a while too.
Oh, Mike Tenay.
Mike Tenay. He's not doing anything. Why not? Give the rest of the crew the night off. Come on. The point is, if you do the nostalgia, you don't do it all the time, but you do it once in a while. You can start gaining back those fans you lost over the years. Like, I don't know. I mean, they can do. Well, it could be a huge tribute to Bobby the Brain Heenan. Like, there's a lot of guys that are dead now, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, you want to talk about the announcer booth? Let's take Tony Schiavone.
Tony Schiavone.
Let's take Mongo McMichael.
Is he alive still?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Mongo Bongo.
And let's put Eric Bischoff in between them.
Oh my God, Bischoff. See, that'd be great. How about this? Don't put him on announcing. One night only as the WCW general manager for the night. And he can do his own shtick on whatever he wants. They let Heyman do whatever he wants for ECW one night.
Yeah.
Well, the first one anyways. I don't know about the second one. But the point is, you can do this huge angle of it. I think the biggest downfall that WWE has ever done is not properly do the WWE versus WCW, ECW angle correctly. I think they could have branched that off. So what? SmackDown may have been retired out of it. But they could have still did the rivalry and could have got years of profitability.
Oh yeah.
They could have replicated the Monday Night Wars. Instead, they're like, Vince McMahon, in my opinion, I could be wrong, I think he loathed WCW so much that he purposely buried the talent from WCW. Some of them survived. Booker T.
Mm-hmm.
Booker T. Is he sure as fuck buried Diamond Dallas Page?
Yeah.
And he buried Kidman. He buried... Oh, fuck, all of
Sting.
them. Well... Sting.
I don't know if that was on purpose, but
I don't know he buried him. As Sting just, you got the guys like Nash, Hulk Hogan, and Goldberg and Sting. They still had their huge contracts with Time Warner, so they would have to forfeit their money to go work for WWE. So that's why they sat at home. I don't think anyone ever would hire Steiner. I don't even know what Impact's thinking right now. Well, I don't think even Impact knows what they're doing.
I don't think he's still with Impact. I'm not sure. I think
he was there for their last pay-per-view.
He was there for their last pay-per-view.
But
no, their last pay-per-view was have they had Bound for Glory yet?
No, that's gonna be in Ottawa.
Oh, that's right. That's
because the Nordholm wants to bring Impact to Canada.
Yeah, which I'm surprised it went to Ottawa. I'm surprised they didn't keep it in Toronto because that's where the head office is. But have they announced where it's going to be in Ottawa?
Nope, they haven't figured it out. Nope, have not figured it out yet.
So, and by the way, on that note, I listened to Jim Cornette, and we talked about Jim Cornette last week.
What did Corny have to say?
Well, he was talking about that it's not a matter of he's not allowed in Canada. It's he doesn't have his. I had the term.
Pardon?
No, not pardon. But there's a waiver or something it's a minister's letter. Minister. It's the letter itself kind of says it's from the Prime Minister's office.
Okay.
And it says, you're allowed in the country. Apparently it costs like $1,000. A lawyer applies for it. You just prove
I'm sure Corny has the money.
Oh yeah. Oh, and he says that. He says I can spend the $1,000. He says TNA even said, hey, we'll, or no, it was Ring of Honor. Sorry. When the whole thing started with Ring of Honor and Sinclair Broadcasting said, okay, we'll take care of that for you. And Jim Cornette said, no, don't. So they were fucktards to me at the border. I have no reason to go back to Canada.
That's what stubborn looks like.
And he said, the people of Canada, he said, some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Great place, clean place. I love Canada. But because they were fucktards at the border, I don't want to go through them.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Swallow your fucking pride.
But he said, it's $1,000. I can afford it. Ring of Honor, Sinclair Broadcasting. As soon as I had the problem, they were calling and said, don't worry, Jim, we'll take care of it. And we'll get you a minister's letter.
Yeah.
And he just said, no, don't want it.
Jesus. All right, well, looks like it's that time.
That's it.
That's an hour and a half. I think we beat them up long enough, and they must be very tired on the treadmill by now.
Well, I hope.
I don't know a lot of people who will run an hour and a half on the treadmill. Maybe 45 minutes.
Run.
Well, waddle, limp.
Yeah, that's more it.
More limp, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week. And since I still don't have a ring bell,
there you go. Thanks for joining in to another show. Next Friday, we'll be back. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Can I stop talking?
Yeah, stop.
Stop.
The bell's already gone.
Oh, okay. I'm hanging up.
His eardrums were scientifically altered for world peace. His ears are more finely tuned than yours or mine. He can listen to a podcast from a mile away. He is the most dedicated podcast fan in the world. I do not always listen to podcasts, but when I do, I prefer the Tangent Bomb Network. Keep listening, my friends.